most budgets have been populist budgets, mainly with the intention of getting some votes also, because politics is the art of the possible, as they say. Why do I say this is a very good budget? The reason is very simple. India is now the fastest growing large economy, no doubt about that. India is growing much faster than US. India is growing much faster than Eurozone, faster than China.
I welcome our advisory board member and economist Dr. Vijayakumar sir and our principal Uma Sridhar FCCA and you all. May I invite Uma ma'am for the presidential address.
Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome you all for yet another interesting budget review from Dr. Vijayakumar. Most of you will know, I am sure you would have done a very good homework about the speaker of today. Still, I need to have at least 2-3 sentences about Dr. Vijayakumar's profile. Then only I'll be feeling good. So, as you all know, he is known for his articles on capital market, wealth management, and Indian and global economy. And he has presented many papers and delivered many lectures on the capital market, both at national and international seminars. Moreover, he has authored 4 books on economics and presented 64 plus, I am not sure whether it has increased, papers on the national seminars and around 8 papers or so on the international seminars as well. So we all are eagerly waiting to hear the easy understanding of the budget review of Dr. Vijayakumar. And I was going through some of the forecast before the budget came. And he was, I think I have seen his message, like it's going to be a political angle analysis. As we all know, this time budget, every ruling party will try to do a little bit of political choreography, because this is the last full budget before the next election, and they need to win the election. So definitely they have to play some game to get the votes, and of course it will be for the middle class. That's a major economic composition, our population composition of India. And he also mentioned like certain other things, capital gain tax, and yet another important point, this is the first budget the present government is doing immediately after our G20. So that means G20 was aiming for economic growth, and like G20 was mainly staying for the strive for stable economic growth and global prosperity. So as Dr. Vijayakumar was expecting, he was thinking the finance minister is expected to deliver a message of sound economic, shunning negative populism. So these are the highlights he had in mind before the budget was, announced. So let us hear from Dr. Vijayakumar how far these things, he can give us more insight on all these topics. As you all know, he makes the budget very easily understandable for a layman. And I also get more interested to learn the budgets than reading the newspaper through with the Dr. Vijayakumar's analysis. And he is associated with Accounts Academy for more than 10 years. I am here for the past 5 years. So that means maybe 10 is a small number. So we hope to have the same benefits of his knowledge to the younger generation. You are the next leading, to control the economy. The next generation has to come up with more ethical, more practical, more strategical views on the economic development. We all are on the other side of the river now. So better you all relax, get set, and be focused and get whatever you want from his analysis. You can have a session with him towards the end to clarify if any doubts on the related subjects. And I don't want to delay much of your inquisitiveness. Let me hand over the floor. Thank you, Dr. Vijayakumar, once again for our session. I know you are one of our family members of Accounts Academy. Still, for a formal function like this, welcome you, and the floor is for you. Thank you. Enjoy.
Sri Shaju, my good student, friend, and the moving spirit behind the Accountants Academy, Usha ma'am, another student of mine, which I can see there, Raki, members of the faculty, and dear students. A warm good morning to all of you. I'm very glad to be yet again with all of you, though in virtual mode. Accountants Academy and I have been associating very closely for I don't know how many years. Shaju told me this morning it must be more than 10 years. And I've been doing this budget analysis also, perhaps for more than 10 years. So it is a very pleasant experience and a very happy experience for me, and hopefully for all the participants also. This year, I make a small change from our usual practice. Usually, I've been focusing only on the union budget and the emerging economic scenario, emerging global economic scenario, emerging economic scenario, because the emerging economic scenario, emerging business scenario is important for you also, for all the students who are watching me today. The emerging economic scenario, how Indian economy is going to do well, how the global economy is going to do in the coming years is important, because your career also depends on that. Your prospects of getting a job, your prospects of starting a business of your own, all this depends on the performance of the economy. Therefore, that was the focus of my presentation. This year also, that will be the main focus of my talk, but I also will be making a few comments about the Kerala budget, because the Kerala budget this year is has been a very big blow for the ordinary people, because the prices of all commodities will go up from 1st of April onwards. So it is going to impact ordinary people's life. So why is it happening? Why the government is imposing such a huge burden on the ordinary people by increasing the prices of petrol, diesel, and the whole host of commodities, motor vehicles tax, etc. That also I will examine in some detail, and that will be towards the last part of my presentation. Well, regarding the union budget of 2023, as Uma ma'am said in her introductory remarks, she quoted from some of the articles which I wrote before the budget. And I wrote some 2 or 3 articles before the budget on budget expectations. I was right on certain things like income tax. I said that there will be relief in income tax in the no exemption category. There are 2 categories. I will explain that later. So there will be relief, likely to be relief in the no exemption category for the middle class. That was one prediction. That prediction came right. But I was wrong in another aspect. I said most budgets are before the election, the last budget before the general election. Most budgets have been populist budgets, mainly with the intention of getting some votes also, because politics is the art of the possible, as they say. Therefore, all politicians used to do that. So I thought this budget also will be populist. I was wrong. This government has presented a very serious, commonsensical, sensible, in my opinion, a very good budget without any populism. A budget which is focused on growth, on stimulating growth, on creating employment opportunities, no burden on the people. So it is not populism. I was wrong there. And also the one point which I mentioned about the G20. Also, that was the concluding part of the article which I wrote before the budget. that India, this is the first budget after India assumed the presidency of G20. Now, G20 means sound economics, good economics, not populism. So my guesswork there was, since India has assumed the presidency of G20, well, there is a possibility the finance minister will present good economics, not good politics, good, because good politics can be bad economics. Therefore, and that has come true. So it has been, my prediction has been a mixed bag, and I am very happy about the predictions coming true, and more happy that some of my concerns and predictions did not come true. I was more happy about that. So I said that this budget, in one sentence, I will call it in 2 words. I will describe this budget as a very good budget. Why do I say this is a very good budget? The reason is very simple. Now, every budget has to respond to the economic context in which the budget is being presented. And what is the economic context now? Globally, there is an economic slowdown. That is the main point of discussion among economists and also political leaders today. Global growth, that is the growth of all the economies of the world. Global GDP is the GDP of all countries of the world put together as global GDP. The global GDP will grow only by 2.9% in 2023. That is the prediction of IMF, International Monetary Fund. From 3.2% last year, it will decline to 2.9% in 2023. Why global growth is expected to decline? There are mainly 3 reasons for that. Or I will say one reason from 3 angles. We must understand that the global economy is mainly driven by 3 economies, 3 economic regions. The world's largest economy is the US, American economy, with a GDP of $22.5 trillion. Next is the Eurozone. Eurozone economies are the economies of 19 countries of the world which use euro as the currency. Germany, France, Belgium, Spain, countries like that, except England. England is not in the Eurozone. So 19 countries of the Eurozone which uses euro as the currency, that is the second largest economic segment. Equally important, at the same level is China with a GDP of $17.5 trillion. This year, China is expected to exceed the GDP of the Eurozone. So these 3 are the engines of global growth: the US, the Eurozone, and China. India is now the fastest growing large economy, no doubt about that. India is growing much faster than US. India is growing much faster than Eurozone, faster than China. But then Indian economy is a $3.4 trillion economy. Next month, in March, according to the finance minister, in March 2023, next month, India will reach $3.5 trillion economy. Already we are the world's 5th largest economy. So even though we are the fastest growing large economy in the world, with a growth rate of 7% this year, financial year 23. In calendar year 23, now when India or the RBI makes a projection of growth, it will be for the financial year from April 1st to March 31st. Whereas IMF makes predictions for calendar year, because for most countries, calendar year is the financial year also. In India, it is different. So for calendar year 2023, IMF's projection for Indian growth is 6.1%. For China, it is 5.2%. For no other country, we have a growth projection of 4%. Everything is less than 4%. For US, 1.4%, big decline. For the Eurozone economies, 0.7%, very low. So my point is, the 3 drivers of the global growth, the US, the Eurozone, and China, are slowing down. And when these three drivers slow down, naturally global growth also will decline. So global growth will be a big challenge this year. It will be a main issue this year. When global growth declines, naturally Indian economy also will be impacted, because India is not an island. India is not an island which is completely immune to global economic issues. When the global economy slows down, India's exports also will decline. When India's exports decline or does not grow as much as expected, well, India's GDP growth also will decline. That is why in Indian government's projection for India's GDP growth for FY24, coming financial year, is average 6.5%, down from the 7% that we will be achieving this year. So I'm explaining to you the difficult global economic environment. The global economic environment scenario is challenging, is difficult. There is growth slowdown. A global recession may not happen. മാന്യത്തിലേക്ക് പോവാൻ സാധ്യതയില്ല, എങ്കിലും there will be a slowdown in global growth. So therefore, what is most important when there is slowdown in global growth? What is important is you should do everything possible to improve your growth, to sustain the growth momentum in the economy. There is growth momentum in the Indian economy. I told you India is the fastest growing large economy in the world now. So there is growth momentum. Certain businesses are doing well. Certain businesses will have problems, but certain businesses are doing well. So this growth momentum has to be maintained. That should be the objective. For example, to give some clarity, suppose Kerala economy has some problems. Kerala's economic growth is very poor. Business is sluggish. That will impact all businesses. All businesses will be impacted. So a business like accountant should consider this this challenging external environment and try to maintain growth, because without growth, any problem? Okay, without growth, without increase in revenue, businesses will be impacted. So the objective should be how to sustain growth, how to increase revenue, because without growth you cannot sustain. So the important challenge now is for the Indian economy how to sustain the growth momentum that we have in the economy in this very difficult global growth environment. And that is precisely what the finance minister has done. Finance minister has made a massive allocation of 10 lakh crores. This is not a small amount of money. 10 lakh crores is going to be invested. This is capital expenditure. Revenue ചെലവല്ല, ദൈനംദിന ആവശ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ചെലവല്ല, മൂലധന ചെലവുകളാണ്. മൂലധന ചെലവുകൾ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ആസ്തികൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ചെലവുകളാണ്, ഇൻഫ്രാസ്ട്രക്ചറിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ചെലവാണ്, റോഡുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്, 4 lane ഹൈവേസ്, 6 lane ഹൈവേസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്, എയർപോർട്ടുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്, പുതിയ ട്രെയിൻസ്, വന്ദേ ഭാരത് മുതലായിട്ടുള്ള പുതിയ ട്രെയിൻസ്, റെയിൽവേന്റെ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ്, 2.4 ലക്ഷം കോടി രൂപ റെയിൽവേ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റിന് മാത്രമുള്ളതാണ്. നാഷണൽ ഹൈവേ അതോറിറ്റി, അങ്ങനെ മാസീവ് ക്യാപിറ്റൽ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ. ഈ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ ഉണ്ടാകുമ്പോഴാണ് ഇക്കണോമിക് ഗ്രോത്ത് ഉണ്ടാവുക. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് പ്രൈവറ്റ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് വേണ്ട രീതിയിൽ നടക്കാത്ത സമയത്ത്. ഇപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയാണ്, പ്രൈവറ്റ് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ഉണ്ട് ചില മേഖലകളില്, മെറ്റൽസില്, മൈനിങ്ങില്, IT-ല്, അങ്ങനെ ചില സെഗ്മെന്റ്സിലൊക്കെ തന്നെ, പിന്നെ സിമെന്റില് ഒക്കെ തന്നെ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ ഉണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ ഇക്കോണമിയിൽ മൊത്തത്തില്, ഇക്കോണമി ആസ് എ ഹോൾ, private capital expenditure is not happening at a desired level, and therefore the government is spending money. Last year it was 7.5 lakh crores ആയിരുന്നു budget allocation. എന്തെങ്കിലും 90% കൂടുതൽ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞു, 7.33 lakh crores. അപ്പൊ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷത്തെ 7.5 lakh എന്നുള്ള ആ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ, it has been increased by 25%, 33%. ഓ, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ, ക്യാപിറ്റൽ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചറിന് പറയായിരുന്നു ഗ്രോത്ത്. രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ വളർച്ച എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇക്കണോമിക് ഗ്രോത്ത് ഡിപ്പെൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ്. ആ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ്സ് വർദ്ധിപ്പിക്കുക എന്നുള്ള കാര്യം മാത്രമാണ് ഇപ്പൊ പ്രധാനമായിട്ട് മാക്രോ ലെവൽ ചെയ്യാനുള്ളത്. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് വാസ് വാട്ട് ദ ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഡിഡ് വിത്ത് എ 10 lakh crore allocation ഫോർ ഇൻക്രീസ്ഡ് ക്യാപിറ്റൽ എക്സ്പെൻഡിച്ചർ. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇതിന് വലിയൊരു ഗ്രോത്ത് ഓറിയന്റഡ് ബജറ്റ് എന്നുള്ളത് മിക്ക ഇക്കോണമിസ്റ്റുകളും ഇതിനെ അപ്രീഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു. ഒരു സീരിയസ് ഇക്കോണമിസ്റ്റും ബജറ്റിനെ വിമർശിച്ചു. രാഷ്ട്രീയം പറയുമ്പോൾ സ്വാഭാവികമായിട്ടും ഓപ്പോസിഷൻ പറയുമല്ലോ, അത് സ്വാഭാവികമാണ്, അതാണ് ഓപ്പോസിഷന്റെ ജോലി. പക്ഷേ ഇക്കോണമിസ്റ്റുകളെല്ലാം തന്നെ ഐ വുഡ് സേ 99% have been supporting this very growth orientation of the budget. അത്